Welcome to Afternoon Tea with Caden Alexander. I'm Caden Alexander, and let's get started. So today, I have a Sakura Sencha tea, and then I'm going to be trying 3 different treats, and then we can also have a little bit of discussion. So, the Sakura Sencha, it looks very small in a 16-ounce cup. Because you're only supposed to put 180 mils in there. So it's very timid. And then we got the fig dorayaki, nice and fluffy. Dorayaki is pretty much just 2 pancakes with a filling, in this case fig, and I think there's still some red bean paste in there. We got I believe that is the Sakura Kanten Mochi? I know there's 2 different Sakura Mochis in here. Actually, no, 1 Sakura and 1 Adzuki. And I know that ain't the Adzuki. Going through the guidebook. Also, look how pretty that is. That is from the Sakura Sencha tea. Oh yeah, so that is the Kanten Sakura Mochi. It's by Ohara Confectionery in Nagano Prefecture. Then we have the Ume Daifuku. Daifuku are similar to mochi, and it has ume paste in there, as well as like a marshmallow filling. So, let's try some, shall we? I'll start with a sip of the tea. Actually, I'll start with the smell. It smells really good. Really earthy. It smells green, if that makes sense. Almost smells like spinach. That's a very strong flavor. It's almost bitter. Yeah, it's all very... Yeah, it has a very bitter flavor. Maybe it's just because I have spinach on the brain, but it does kind of taste like spinach. But it's good. Let's try the dorayaki. The pancakes are nice and fluffy. And the paste is very sweet, as you would expect of red bean. I've grown accustomed to the red bean taste from the last box, but it wasn't one of my favorite tastes before. Like, it was too sweet for me. But it's growing on me. There's even some red bean skins in there. And it pairs wonderfully with the tea. I'm glad I chose this one. I am recording outside, so you'll probably hear a few cars or school buses. So I apologize. But this is really good. And it's pretty big too. It's like the size of my palm. Can't quite taste the fig. Then again, I'm not really sure what fig tastes like. I think I got a little hint of it there. But no, that pairs wonderfully. And the bitterness of the tea and the sweetness of the red bean. So what should I talk about today? I think I'm gonna talk a little more about Japan. Just because the first time I did, most of the audio was distorted. And I also missed out on telling y'all a lot. So I think I'm gonna start with my highlights. So the main reason I went was, of course, as I mentioned prior, I was supposed to go with my high school, and I never did, because every year they cancel the trip. So I still wanted to do most of the things that were on that list. And the main places were Kyoto, Nara, Himeji, Tokyo, and I think we spent a day or two in Osaka as well. Or that what the itinerary was supposed to be. And then we also went to climb Mount Fuji. And we would climb it at night so we could watch the sunrise from the summit. Unfortunately, I was not able to do that. Even if I did go with my school, I probably wouldn't have made it that far because I have very tiny lungs. But I did make a point to go to Himeji. I went to Himeji Castle, which was just recently restored, and oh my gosh, it was stunning, y'all. Like, the amount of detail and work that went into it, all of the history behind it, just amazing. So I was able to do that. I took a tour of the gardens as well. Then in Nara, unfortunately, what normally happens with me is I lose things a lot. So I ended up losing something incredibly important. And instead of sticking on my schedule and taking the bus that I was supposed to take, or the Shinkansen rather, to Nara, I think it was to Nara from Kyoto, I ended up staying in Kyoto, backtracking my steps and trying to find the thing I lost, and I didn't. So I ended up wasting a whole day. By the time I got lost on my way to my hotel. Or hostel rather. So by the time I actually made it to the hostel, checked in, and was able to go explore, everything was closing. It was like 5:30. And most things in Japan close, especially like museums and parks and such, close at sunset. So come 5:30, there was nothing. But I was able to still go see the deer, feed the deer. One of them actually took a huge chunk out of my map because I was trying to set up my camera with a tripod with my map in my hand, and this cute little feller just walks right up, takes a huge chunk out of my map. And then another, because I bought senbei to feed them, but I put the senbei in my backpack for a tiny bit, just so I could get my belongings together. And so I look away, and then I look back, and there is a deer head completely in my backpack. But that was a lot of fun. So I was able to do that, and then I walked over to try and find some food, and I found a shopping arcade by the train station. So I was able to go do that and do some souvenirs, or get some souvenirs. So it was really nice what I could spend there time-wise. If I go back, I definitely want to make more than one day out of it. And make a full day out of it as well. Like, at least 2-3 full days so I could actually see all that was there to offer. Damn. But anywho, oh, it's garbage day, that's why. I was wondering what that was, garbage tray. So, Kyoto ended up being my absolute favorite part of the entire trip. I went to the Arashiyama bamboo groves, walked up and down all of that, and in Arashiyama, I was mainly just sightseeing, like I had no real plans other than the bamboo groves and the Iwatayama Monkey Park, which I'll get to. But I stumbled upon an orgel museum, music box museum. And just for the hell of it, I went in. It was about, I think the entry fee was about $40 US, give or take. But it was a guided tour. And I was able to take it more than once, technically, because I just caught it as it was halfway the first time. And then the second time I was able to catch what I missed, you know? And then I was able to still look, but they had demonstrations of every single music box in there. They had a huge collection. They had an Edison phonograph in working condition. They had these magnificent, almost looked like grandfather clocks, but they were music boxes. And you could fit different gears in there so it would play different things. And when I was there, Frozen was real big, so they actually had a gear that was Let It Go. So they played that on this huge thing. That was really cool. And then there was a bunch of, they had the first music box ever made. Unfortunately, it was not in working condition, but it was still there. And then they had footage of when it did work. So that was really cool. And then they also had like furniture that, like a teapot that when you poured it, it would play music, or a chair that when you sit on it, it would play music. So it was just so amazing to see. And these were curated through like all of Europe. So I got to see that. I got Suica watermelon juice for the first time. That was really good. And then Iwatayama Monkey Park, which was such an amazing hike. It's on a mountain, It's on a mountain, so you had to climb a huge flight of stairs first, very steep. And then, after the first, like, straight climb up, then it would just a winding bend. And there were little rest stops every little bit of the way, benches, playgrounds. There was a bathroom at the midway point. But at the summit, there was a little hut that you could go in, you could stamp your brochure, and then you could actually buy food to feed the Japanese macaques. And the walls were all like slotted fencing. So, like slotted wire fencing. Sorry, y'all. Right. So, slotted wire fencing, and the monkeys would climb it and then just stick their hand out and, well, like this, and just wait. Because we would be able to buy either, I think it was apples or peanuts, and we'd have it in the palm of our hand, and then they would just take it and scoop it right out of our hands. And it was so cool. I got so many good pictures of that. I'll try and put those up on my afternoon tea Twitter if I remember. But oh, that whole day, because that was an entire day. That whole day was such a treat. I would go back to Arashiyama in a heartbeat. That was probably my favorite leg of the trip. Which is funny because I went there mainly A, for Tokyo, to Japan, I mean, and B, for the Hello Project concerts that I mentioned in the previous episode. And the Hello Project concerts were great, but they weren't like the best days of my trip. But I would go back in a heartbeat. I would do it all again. Except maybe the day that I lost my rail pass. But let's try the Kanten mochi, shall we? Ooh, that's very soft. It's made with Japanese agar as well as mochi. So, just a beautiful flavor right off the bat. Very sweet. You can definitely taste the sakura. Oh, that's delightful. Oh, something else that's really cool with Sakurako is they actually have a site in the umbrella company. They have a site called Japan Hall. And if you see anything from these videos that you want to try, you can actually order it a la carte. Oh, that's so good. Nice and sweet. But I think my favorite part about Japan, which is funny because I'm probably one of the least social people you'll meet, at least willingly. But I had so many great and insightful conversations when I was there with people of all walks of life. Like, of course, Japan natives. I had quite a few conversations with people at my hostels, because I stayed at a lot of them, it was cheaper. And then, even on the Shinkansen, I met a businessman. I forget what country he was originally from, but he made a career in Japan. And we just talked for most of the trip. It was really insightful. I still have his business card in my wallet. And it was just really neat. There's a chance that they might see this, though I highly doubt it. But when I went to Himeji, I found a little ramen spot in a shopping arcade called Koba and More. And Koba is one of my friends on Facebook. And he's just a very insightful guy, very charming, and actually took time to talk to all the foreigners that were in the ramen shop. And I wasn't the only gaijin there. I met a couple other gaijin who were part of, similar to the JET program, but it was exclusive for their state. I forget what it was called. But anywho, I met them. And then I met two older gentlemen. One was a news reporter, Kazuro. I think they were both actually named Kaz. I could be wrong. I can't remember and I feel bad, but I had a great conversation with both of them. They were very surprised when I mentioned Oginome Yoko and just music and Hello Project. And yeah, it was really fun. I have them on Facebook too. But I met so many cool people, and it was such a great time. I would do it again. I definitely would. Um, so I did say I would eat the daifuku, didn't I? I forgot to open this one, so that is incredibly soft. There's that sour ume. But it works. It's very soft with the marshmallow and the mochi. It's very complimentary. It's not as like punchy. It's still very sour. But it's a very complimentary flavor. Oh, that's really good. So far, I'm really pleased with this month's box, and it's only the first tasting video. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm coming up on 20 minutes. So, I am going to leave y'all. If y'all have any questions about anything, be it gender identity, Japan, my hobbies, other things I like to eat. If you need advice, though I highly doubt I'm the right person, I'll try. Just any comments, by all means. Comment on Twitter, comment on this YouTube video. Like, subscribe. And as always, thank you so much. I don't really know who watches these, but I appreciate it so much. And I just thank you. Y'all are the reason I keep doing this. So, I hope y'all have a great one. Bye-bye.